As the number of refugees fleeing the fighting in Syria tops 1 million, EU foreign ministers are set to discuss international efforts to bring an end to the conflict. The ministers will be updated on diplomatic developments by the UN and Arab League Special Representative Lakhdar Brahimi. The EU is the largest humanitarian donor for the Syrian crisis, in which some 70,000 people have died. The union's imposed restrictive measures against Damascus to stop the regime cracking down on its citizens. On the Southern Neighbourhood, the ministers will discuss Libya as the EU prepares to send this month the first members of a border support management mission to help the country control its land, sea and air frontiers. Recent events in Tunisia next door will be under the spotlight, notably the resignation of the Prime Minister and assassination of an opposition leader. The elections in Egypt and a possible EU observation mission there are also on the agenda. Russia is a main topic for debate ahead of the EU summit later in the week. The ministers want to try to look at the EU-Russia partnership in a more comprehensive way. Trade between the two is growing and talks on easing visa requirements are progressing. Russia also has a high-profile role in international affairs like the conflict in Syria and Iran's nuclear program. But the EU has voiced concerns about the rule of law in Russia and harassment of the media and human rights defenders. The ministers will also review relations with Japan to pave the way for an EU-Japan summit late this month. The summit will launch negotiations on a free trade agreement and a framework accord for broader EU-Japan relations. This Foreign Affairs Council takes place on the second anniversary of the massive tsunami in Japan. The EU provided emergency relief and continues to help the country rebuild.